sketches based off of satellite and aerial imagery. 2011 was the last year that I worked claims actively in my name.
Okay.
I mentored and trained and broke into the industry 20 to 25 adjusters over my career. I have been a CAT team supervisor. I started an IA firm. I bought another one up in the Northeast, sold those and the other drafting company when I started this one right before. And this has been quite an adventure. We have grown tremendously. I mean, this year alone, it's been about 300 to 400% growth in clients.
Okay.
We have the most affordable pricing in the industry. One of the neat things about it is you get the program file, whether you're using Symbility or whether you're using Xactimate. You can get an XML or ESX file to import into your system, treat it as your own. But the thing about this is what you have to remember is this time management. Okay, you're getting an accurate product, you're getting it at an affordable price, but you're getting it timely. Our guidelines are 24 hours or less. We're currently running about 6 to 7 hours. You'll order one this morning, you got it back before you get home from work.
Yeah,
Okay.
a buddy of mine, Aaron, he's actually running claims right now out in California,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
he had a concern about the turnaround time. So I'm glad you spoke about that, because that was one of the things he was really asking about. He was, hey man, how long will it take me to get the claims back? Actually, I told him to call you.
Yeah. Well, look, Michael, here's the deal. All right. When hurricanes hit, everybody gets backed up.
Right.
Okay. Sometimes in some big hail events, maybe the same thing. We have an option on ours on our website, which is www.act.claims. Okay. But if you've got one that's a hot file when you received it, they want it back yesterday. Okay. There's an express option for an extra $12. You can get that back to your email, guaranteed in 4 hours or less. Okay.
Now, even with the extra $12, and with the extra $12 being added to the fee, you're still cheaper than the competition with that, right?
Absolutely.
Okay.
We have retail pricing for 1 to 18 facet, a facet being a
Mm-hmm.
slope. If you just want the ESX or the program or the other,
Okay.
there we go. We're talking retail price is $27.99. We do have membership options. You guys try us out, and at your conference, we'll be offering $50 off to anybody that wants to sign up as a member.
Good
Okay.
deal, man. I appreciate that. Yeah, I made a note to
Absolutely.
make sure. I wanted to let the people know who were coming to the conference that you guys were stepping up and making some special concessions for them.
Yeah, we'll be giving away some free sketches. We'll be giving away some free memberships. So
Okay.
you definitely want to put your name in the hat because they may not be the sexiest door prizes, but man, I'm telling you, when you talk about what it can do for you,
Yeah.
it's something else.
That makes it
Um,
sexy.
oh yeah, I was fortunate enough last year to meet Mr. Mark Cuban at a conference in Atlanta, Georgia,
Okay.
and in talking, he said, "Well, tell me a little about your company." And I started talking about it, and I stopped and I said, "Now listen, I don't want to bore you with the details. There's nothing sexy about it." He goes, "Do you make money?" I said, "Yes, sir." He goes, "Don't let anybody ever tell you making money isn't
Right.
sexy."
Right. That's exactly right.
That's
He's
the
a
deal.
technology guy. Yeah.
I have people ask me all the time, all right, well, fee schedules are small. They're demanding more and more stuff. It takes more time. Now you're asking me to spend more money on your stuff.
Right.
That is very short-sighted. You have to look at the big picture. Look at the bottom line. All right. Even on relatively easy claims that show up on. If you save 15 minutes drawing that thing off and sketching it out in the field, and you save another 15 minutes putting it into Xactimate, you save 30 minutes per claim. If you're running four a day, now you've got an extra 2 hours. How many
Yeah.
more claims can you look at in 2 hours?
Right.
You might
Right.
get two more claims.
So
Well,
true.
all of a sudden your bottom line, even by paying us, you actually made more money.
Yeah.
All right. Now the membership option, once you try us out and you find out that we're everything that we say, we have phenomenal customer service. We're hands down huge on customer service. If you call us, you talk to a real person. If you email us, you get a response back in a timely manner. That's just who we are.
Yeah, well, and well, you mean you're touching on quite a few things. In
Yeah.
fact, this whole week I've actually been in a training class with one of, let's call them the big five. So I'll let people do some guessing. But one of the things, and the instructor that we have, man, he's an awesome guy. He knows his business. But when we start talking about, going out on a deployment and making some money, right? There are tons of things you can do. But he's concerned with saving a minute or two on
Yep.
in any facet of the claim that he's working. Because if you're able to save a minute or two in every facet of the claim that you're working on, that's going to translate into minutes. And then, of course, that's going to translate into more claims that you're getting closed, right? And
Absolutely.
not just getting it closed, they're, depending on who the carrier is, they're going to be asking various things of us. But if you're able to save some minutes and shave off some time on what you're doing, it's going to make a difference in the end. If you're closing six claims a day, I'm reverting back to my mortgage days, but if you're closing 6 claims a day versus 2, it's going to make a huge difference. And that's one of the things that, I really wanted to make sure we were focusing on in this conference, especially for newer adjusters, is just that, man, there's a box we can work in. You're going to learn everything at some point in time.
Yep.
But right now, let's just be laser focused. Let's work on these things that's going to translate into some success in the business. Now, another thing that you talked about was the number of people that you've mentored maybe over the years.
Sure.
So I think it's important to have veteran guys such as yourself. Last night we had Bruce Arthurman and Jill Smith on. And both of them are certified Exactimate trainers. Both of them will be teaching some classes at the conference. They're also going to be doing some additional classes before and after the conference. But they've been in the business 13 plus years. Managers, unit managers, and then they're still running claims. So these are the kind of people that we have coming in. But how do you feel about the mentoring aspect, in the business right now?
In the business right now,
Just in the field of adjusting, because we have a lot of people in our group that are looking for mentors. So somebody who's looking for a mentor, what would you share with them about how to approach somebody about mentoring them?
Oh, well, I mean, you need to find somebody that has a good reputation, a fair amount of experience. Okay, and when I say a fair amount, I'm talking 5 years or more. Anything less than 5 years, they haven't expanded themselves enough and gotten enough industry recognition. Okay.
I think that's fair. Yeah.
Not to say that there aren't some phenomenal adjusters out there with less than 5 years experience, but they just aren't well known enough. Okay.
Sure.
Make sure that person actually has some certification, has some background, some qualifications, some things like level 2 or level 3 Exactimate certified. Okay, because they're going to be able to help save you times. There's nothing more frustrating than getting on the online chat with Exactware for 2 hours, having them do something back and forth. Man, your time is valuable. Okay, sure. When you do a time and expense claim, you're talking 75 as an IA, $75 an hour. As a general adjuster, 100 to 125. I mean, 2 hours is a lot of money.
Yeah, a lot of money.
And more than just money. I remember back Hurricane Ike, when it hit Galveston, Texas. The closest place, I took a full staff out. I had another adjuster with me. I had an office manager. I had two apprentices that were assisting us.
Okay.
All right, so I had a bunch of people, so I had to get a 2-bedroom condo, so we could set up and everybody had their places and had their own personal space. Well, the closest we could get was in the Woodlands. man, it was a hike
Yeah.
every day. And so if you're talking losing 2.5, 3 hours drive time every day, man, that's huge. And what we found out is we were stretching our days longer and longer. We'd leave before the sun came up and then be heading home as the sun went down.
Yeah.
Well, you still stay up and write those claims up that evening. So guess what you end up shorting yourself? Sleep.
Right. Right.
And I'm here to tell you from experience that an extra 2 hours of sleep a night sometimes
Makes a
is
huge
worth
difference.
everything in the world
Yeah. Yeah.
because you don't want to add stress to an already stressful environment. Okay. I'll be happy. I don't want to, cross over any of the stuff that the Exactimate trainers are going to be teaching, but I'm going to share some things that I think will help the adjuster save time. My personal opinion is you can create some basic macros.
Yeah.
Listen, just talking about Exactimate, this thing is a phenomenal program. Yes, it has its upsides and downsides, but what I will tell you is this got several 100,000 line items in it.
Right.
Okay, well, if you're doing a 3-tab roof on a hail claim, you don't want to be searching through 3, 4, 500,000 line items.
Yeah.
So you can create a macro with everything that would go on that roof, and it's a lot quicker to go delete. Okay, it doesn't have turtle vents. Delete. Okay, it doesn't. Than it is to go and try and find it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, that's real time right there, my friend.
Oh, no doubt. But I made mention of this with Bruce and Jill, a buddy of mine who was just out. He was in North Carolina, and he said, man, and it was his first deployment. He said, Mike,
Oh,
I
wow.
was getting beat up. You know, it was tough. It was brutal. And we say, hey, it put a little hair on your chest. We understand that, but he got out there, man, and he said, man, I was doing like one claim a day, then I was doing, I got myself up to doing 2 claims a day. Another guy was running 10, and he
Yeah,
he didn't understand how was he doing it, and it took him the whole deployment, till he was finished. But of course, the guy who was running 10 claims a day, they were stacking him up with more claims. He was getting the work
sure.
done. But what he ended up doing was finding out, hey man, this guy was running macros. I knew nothing about macros. I've never heard of macros. So that's kind of one of those things where you just kind of alluded to, man. Exactimate, it has a million
Sure.
line items in it, and it's a very robust program. And I think it was you who educated me on the fact, or it may not have been, but someone I was talking to told me that the program was actually built initially to handle fires or to rebuild fires. It really wasn't an insurance claim product for insurance
Hmm.
adjusters when it was first built. But he just didn't know about macros, which could have helped
Sure.
him out a ton.
Sure. Well, let me share a little story with you about how this can equate to not just daily savings. Sometimes you have to think bigger and see the forest through the trees. Got a very not going to mention any names.
Okay.
Very good friend of mine that for years and years said, Vance, I can't justify signing up and using your service, man. I'm about as good a draftsman as you are.
Okay.
And I said, well, I understand, buddy. Well, I had just trained and turned loose an adjuster that was brand new to the industry. I mean, less than 6 months. Okay.
Hmm.
And we were in Appleton, Wisconsin, and we were working hail claims, big
Okay.
hailstorm up there.
Okay.
All right. Well, I ended up having to come back because the sale of my first company went through, and I started setting up Advanced Claims Technologies.
Okay.
So I said, man, can I put him in the room next door just in case he needs some advice, some mentoring? The guy said, man, no problem. I'll be happy to help. I find that, good adjusters like to share the light, share the knowledge that they have. And so I was back home. I got a call from this guy. I guess it was 2, 3 weeks later.
Hmm.
And he said, man, when I get home, I'm going to go ahead and sign up for your service. I said, wow, what the heck is going on, my man? He goes, well, I'm on the way home back to Atlanta. And he said, I got plenty of time to think about how much money that I'm losing and your rookie adjuster's making. And I
Oh
said, what do you
my.
mean? He said, well, they gave him another batch of 50 because he was done with his first batch quicker
Yeah.
than mine. And then they told me they didn't need me. He said, I'm the guy that was helping him get them right.
Right.
And they got him up
Woo!
there making another 15, 20 grand.
Right. Right.
So
Right.
that's what I'm trying to talk about is the time management actually turns into dollars. And sometimes, like this case,
Hmm.
real dollars.
Yeah. Yeah,
So
man. Good
I'm
story.
excited. I look forward to seeing everybody. Listen, we have a fantastic all-star team over here at Advanced Claims Technologies. We have some actually phenomenal uh, strategic partnerships. I'll be happy to share and mention to folks. We have, on occasion, helped people get lined up with an IA firm that does business with us, or offered advice on how to handle a carrier's claim. Now,
Right.
I'm not married. I don't have kids. I quit drinking 7 years ago. Michael, I'm a nerd. Okay, I work.
Good
I
deal. Well, come
asked
on down
God,
here
I
and work
want
with us.
Dad to be the next Brett Favre or Troy Aikman, and it
Yeah.
just wasn't in the cards.
Sure.
Okay,
I get it.
but God did say, if you don't mind being a little bit of a nerd, I got something you're pretty doggone good at. So
Yeah, and be
here
good
we
at
are.
that. Yeah, put your hands on that and be good at that. Well, listen, I don't want to forget this because
Yeah.
right now, one of the things that you're going to be teaching about is preparing the story.
Yep.
And then I know you're going to be talking about, as you alluded, without going too far over into too much, what the Exactimate guys are going to be teaching, because they have some pretty slick software that they use
Sure.
in helping them facilitate the class. But you're going to be doing some tips and tricks and some shortcuts to
Oh
help
yeah.
the adjusters move along through their claims a whole lot quicker. And this is what I've learned though. I don't care how many times, especially in your newer days. I don't care how many times you go through a training program. You're gonna have to get your hands on the stuff that you're using, and you're gonna have to kind of get repetitious with it before I say you think claim adjuster think before you start
Mhm.
talking in RFG 220S RFG 300
Right.
like what the heck when once your mind starts to make that shift and your fingers just automatically follow,
Right.
that's when you're going to start seeing more of the success that kind of happens. But it is definitely a process. One of the things we're doing, we're closing it out with a 1 day or a half day hands on field examination. So we're going to do like a 1 day
Nice.
deployment because it's
Okay.
not just about going through the class, but now for someone who's never been out, who's never touched a house, who's never seen, okay, I've heard how to measure. How do we measure? Let's go put our hands on some of this stuff. So we're going to be doing some of those types of things, to kind of get it. But um, if time permits or scheduling permits, some other things that we may want to loop back around and drop in, on the people and on the group, because I know like I said, a lot of people can't just sit down and listen to a broadcast. So we're gonna repost this, let
Sure.
them hear about your company. I'm gonna post a link to your company, but of course, everybody can go to our website, which is ICAN adjustersconference.com. And there's information there about Vance. There's information there about his company. You could just log on, click that link, go to his company and see what's happening. But before I end this call, let me do this, Vance. I'm
Sure.
gonna unmute the microphones,
Okay. Do
and
we have any questions? Yeah.
yeah, just in case, man, just in case. Let me unmute everybody. Yes, unmute everybody. So just in case. Now, if you're on mute now, it's because you are controlling the mute on your side, which is fine. But if there's anybody out there who's listening, if you had a question that you wanted to pose a question, just state your name and state your question. We'll give you a few seconds to collect your thoughts. But if you have some questions, feel free to chime in and ask Vance.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing fine. Is this Mona Singleton?
Yes, it
Hey,
is.
Mona,
Thank
how
you.
are you?
I'm good. I'm actually in Texas and I am like brand new.
Okay.
I'm starting to like fill out the IA applications or what have you, but
Okay.
I don't know what else to do. Where do I go? And I'm steady applying on like Indeed when I see jobs come up, but of course at this point I'm not getting any action.
I understand. So let me ask you a couple of questions, Mona. Do
Mm-hmm.
you have your insurance adjuster's license yet?
Yes, I passed.
Okay.
I got it. I just got it in October.
Okay, good deal. So you're on Indeed. You don't have any experience right now. Then is that right?
Yeah, the only claims experience I have is doing claims for HUD insured properties,
Okay.
not for, yeah, not the
Okay.
regular.
All right, good deal. So I'll say this. Let me give you a short answer, Mona, and then I'll try to lengthen the answer, right? From my
Okay.
perspective, then I'm going to see what Vance would have to say. But that's one of the reasons why I created this conference. I had a guy who called me. He said, "Hey, man, listen, um, I know that there are other conferences out there, and they've been running for years. What separates this conference from what's going on at the other conference?" I said, "Man, if you want bigger, you definitely want to go to the other conference. If you want intimacy, where you're going to be able to sit down and get a little more hands-on help,
Right.
because to my knowledge now, those other conferences aren't doing any type of they're not closing out with a field deployment, right? So as you were stating, you don't know anything about the field, you don't know what to do or where to go. I'm not certain that Indeed is the best place for you to start your search, right? There
Okay.
are other firms out there. They are larger firms, and the larger firms do an excellent job of giving new adjusters an opportunity, and they have some training built into their onboarding. So,
Right.
having said that, they're not built necessarily for speed. I mean, they're there to help you learn, what their primary carriers' expectations are. They're going to help you learn their system and how those things integrate and work. And
Okay.
please understand, this business is a customer service business. I can promise you that it's a customer
Absolutely.
service business. So if you understand that, a larger firm is a great place to start. Now, where the conference comes in at is this: we can get you up to speed, where hey, we can get you familiar with the systems. If we can get you moving along faster, if we can get you in a position where you can shave some time off of everything that you're doing,
Okay.
it's gonna help you make some money on your first deployment. You can get out there and you can get out there and lose some money, quite a bit of money on your first deployment. I think on my first deployment, my wife, I'll have to double check with her, but I think I barely broke even. Right now, the
Hmm.
experience was great, but if I had gone to this type of conference, it would have been a whole different world. Because one, I would have known what to expect. Two, I would have had some tools in my pocket to work with, and I would have known how to move a whole lot faster to get that claim closed. But that's kind of my thoughts. If are you on Facebook?
Yes, I
Oh,
am.
okay, Mon, if you shoot me an email, I'll shoot you the names of what I think are the biggest firms who give people an opportunity. So I shoot that to you. But that's what we created, the conference for, is for people just like you. Now, Vance, what are
Okay.
your thoughts?
Mona, I would tell you to research very inexpensive or free certifications. All right, you're
Okay.
marketing yourself, you're selling yourself, right?
Okay.
Just like in the dating world and the personal thing, you're trying to make
Okay.
yourself look more attractive. Okay. One of the things that I did early in my career was I got rope and harness certified. Well, it helped
Okay.
me get business when other people didn't have that on the steep and tall. Um,
Okay.
Later in my career, it ended up being a curse, because I'm getting stuck on the ones that when somebody else is making more money. But
Okay.
right now, what you're trying to do is you're trying to make yourself more marketable. You get more
Right.
certification. I'm not talking about putting thousands of dollars in. There are certifications out there that you can get that are very, very inexpensive, or in a lot of cases free. All right.
Okay.
I would also recommend that you work on getting your non-residence license in some hot states. such as Texas. If you're not a resident of Texas, that's a great state to have a non-resident adjuster's license in. So when something does happen, you are ready. They don't have to wait on you to get your non-resident adjuster's license. Now, those do cost money, so you want to be picky and make sure that you're picking states that you have the ability to go to, number one, but also have decent activity. Okay?
Okay.
Now,
Okay,
the last thing I'm going to tell you is extremely important. All right. Make sure, and I'm not just talking about our company. There's a lot of fantastic drafting companies, sketch companies that use satellite and aerial imagery out there. We just happen to be one of them. Okay.
Okay.
But make sure you utilize the technology that's available to you to save time and, more importantly, to look more professional. Okay. Because here's the deal: your first storm, you're going to work so hard to finally get these claims in your name. And if everybody's gonna have stumbles here and there. But if you fall and they yank your claims, you just put a black mark on your name before you ever got going good.
yeah.
So
Right.
you're able to use services like, I don't know if you know Rebecca Wheeling at Schedule It. I'm not trying to do ads for people, but they do scheduling services. Those are fantastic companies. I remember one year I showed up. This is back, I'm old. This is back when they were still handing them out, in manila folders. And man, they handed me a stack that was about a foot high, had 300 files in it. Well, I got
Okay.
24 hours to contact all these people. And that's just not possible because you don't get everybody on the first call. So a scheduling service would have been great for me, you know. Um, Quite frankly, learning how to do Xactimate Sketch is extremely difficult. It's one of the tougher things that adjusters have to do. So you look to a company like ours to provide you accurate sketches so you can import and look like a rock star. You close these files, you do it in a professional manner, you get invited back. Okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
But you know what, Mona? Before I let you go, let me say this because I know we're pretty heavy on the conversation when it comes to outside or field adjusting, but
Right.
we also have a guy who's going to be at the conference. Ron Williams is his name, and
Okay.
I don't know what day we have Ron scheduled, but we're going to have Ron as a guest leading up to the conference as well. So we'll be live streaming with him.
Okay.
But if you go to, or anyone who's out there who's listening, because I just jumped over to my phone to take a look. So they're asking about the conference, right? Go to the website, ICANadjustersconference.com, ICAN adjustersconference.com. And we have the information about the conference there. But what Ron did with his company now, he primarily trains people and gets them ready for desk adjusting or inside adjusting, right?
Right. Okay.
He's gonna be here. He's gonna be there. Cause sometimes, like some ladies, they say, listen, I'm not gonna run up on a roof. I'm just not gonna do it. I understand. But
Okay.
if you like doing that, we have somebody else who's gonna be there. Actually, I need to get Ebony scheduled, because Ebony's gonna be doing some of our field training. She's a field trainer. But Ron's business and what he's done when his company, I want to make sure I get these numbers right. He's had about 300 people come through his company, and he had about 60% of new adjusters who came through his business actually get deployed through these last two storms, right?
Wow.
He worked hard to try to get his people placed, and he did. Out of that other 40% that did not get deployed, those were some people who just weren't ready to go, or they were, still committed to their full-time job and they weren't at a position or at a point where they thought they could leave. But
Okay.
there's a ton of information that, these speakers and, business owners are going to bring. So with all of that, if you can make it to the conference, we'd love to see you there.
Okay.
Anybody who's listening, if you want to call now, I'm going to tell you this. You probably won't get a return call until tomorrow. But the phone number to dial is 214-702-2972 if there's a question that you can't find online. But if you want to shoot an email, the email address is info, I-N-F-O, at ICANadjustersconference.com. So I appreciate the question, Mona. And like I said, if you tag me on Facebook, I shoot you the information about the 4 or 5 biggest firms that really do a good job of getting people, their first opportunity. And I said they have great onboarding, processes. But what we want to do is when you get that deployment, we want to, make sure you can get out there and make some money.
Okay. So just really quick, I'm not gonna hold you.
Sure, no,
Right now, I'm doing pilot
okay.
onboarding.
Okay.
Is it eBarrels?
Everals?
Eberals, I'm sorry. Okay,
Okay.
them. I sent something out to Global Risk or GRS. I don't know.
Uh-huh.
I
I'm not
sent
very
some.
familiar with them.
Okay, I sent something out to Mile High Adjusters.
Mile High Justice, I've heard of them, but I'm not very familiar with them. Yes.
Okay, and I did do. Is it Worley?
Okay, Worley.
WR. Yeah, I applied with them. I haven't heard back from them. Um. Oh, EA Renfro.
Yeah, and Renfro's a large one too.
Okay, I applied to them, but I haven't heard back from them either yet.
Okay. Now,
But
in fact, one of our speakers is going to be Justin. He just got through. He finally was able to respond to me. But Justin actually works for Worley, and he's
Okay.
going to be teaching one of our classes, one of our sessions at the conference. We just have to work through the details. But
Okay.
I mean, still shoot them to me. Let me give you a couple more.
Yes, I will.
That you
Thank
did
you.
me. But I can speak for Pilot. I can speak for Emeralds. I can speak for Renfro. They do a great job of giving new adjusters an opportunity, right?
Okay.
Now there are some other, firms or companies that you may want to talk to, especially like with Ron, going to be Ron Williams and his company.
Okay.
Because if you're looking for something more inside, I know that's kind of his specialty.
Oh, that's great.
So with that being his specialty, and if that's what you want to do now, if you want to get out there and get your feet wet in the field, that's fine too. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, there are a lot of ladies that get out there and run claims, and I'm wondering how they do it, but they do it, and they do a good job. And for the most part, women pay attention to detail far more than men do. So you guys, right out the bat, you're
our
slated
thing. You're
to
right.
do, a better job than we are because you have to pay attention to detail. So I'll still
Mona.
make sure I get that information
Yes, sir.
to you.
Mona, I wanted to share with you. This did not happen to a friend of mine. This happened to me. All right.
Okay.
I knew that I needed some guidance, and so here was this buddy of mine that was an experienced adjuster, and
Okay.
I said, look, rather than go on a deployment and make a fool of myself, man, I'd rather come on with you. Well, he got me claims in my name, with
Okay.
the tutelage that he would mentor and help me. And man, I was making $200 a week, all right, as basically an apprentice adjuster, but the knowledge I
Okay.
gained was invaluable. All right.
Hmm.
Later in my career as a reviewer, I was still picking up stuff. I would see somebody's file and go, wow, that's really neat. I need to do that. I'm going to incorporate that into my system now. If you ever
Mhm.
stop learning in this, something's wrong because
Exactly.
there's something new, something great every day.
That sounds good, and I love learning new stuff.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, listen, I hope you're able to make the conference. I would love to schedule some, a one-on-one sit down with you. I'll be happy to share any advice, tricks,
Okay.
that I have, above and beyond the classes. I wish you well,
Thank
Mona.
you.
So
Thank you so much,
tips
both
and
of
tricks
you.
that's gonna help you move through it. So and then if you do, we're gonna shoot out an email, especially to the people who have already registered, to let them know one of the things they definitely want to do is go out to Exactimate. Exactimate is gonna give they're typically pretty good about a 30-day practice version, and but don't jump on there yet. We want to get you closer to the
Right.
conference date before anybody does that. But hey,
I took
listen.
the class,
Okay, all right, well, good deal.
and I did
You're
the
moving in the
30-day
right
training.
direction.
So I
You're
got
moving
the
in the right
10
direction.
10 CE credits on my license or something
Okay.
like that.
Okay.
Well, listen, you're moving in the right direction. You may want to talk to Jill and Jill Smith. She's an Exactimate certified trainer, just to kind of talk to her pick our
Mhm.
brain a little bit, and then Bruce ultimate. But I don't want to take up too much more
No, of course
of
not. Okay.
Mr. Dawson's time. But listen,
Thank
I
you
appreciate your
both.
time, man, and Mona appreciate you chiming in. Shoot me an email so I don't, or hit me up on Facebook so I don't
Yes.
forget. Because I
I'm
promise
gonna
you,
look for both of you on Facebook.
I will
Oh,
forget.
good.
Okay, wait a
Okay,
minute. And Mr. Dawson, what's his first name?
Vance
Vance.
Dawson.
Vance Dawson. Got it. Okay, thank you both so very much. You've been a great help. Thank
Good
you.
deal.
Very
Thanks.
encouraging.
Thank you, Mona. Look forward to
All
meeting you.
right.
Well,
Oh,
hey,
thank you
we're
so
going to
much.
sign off again. I'm just going to leave the website last time for anybody who's listening.
Okay.
ICAN, adjustersconference.com. If there's any information on there you cannot get, you can email us and we'll respond.
Okay. Thank y'all both
All
so much.
right, good deal,
Have
man.
a
Hey,
good one.
Vance, thank you, man. Thank you again. I
All
appreciate your
righty.
time.
All right,
And
guys.
I'll
Thanks
see
so
you.
much.
All right, thanks.
Bye bye.